With each passing day, this is getting harder and harder to ignore. Whales have been snatching up XRP like crazy. The rich people, the institutions, I have more data to prove that this is the case. This is the type of behavior that precedes the big moves to the upside that we all want to see. And on top of that, if you're talking on a macro scale, everything is lining up like you would hope and expect based on the Raoul Pal macro thesis. Everything that you would hope to be going in a particular way to this point actually is. And history tells us that when this happens, oh, buckle up, because if you're into risk on assets like crypto, the money ends up making its way here. Liquidity increases, and as an appetite for risk on assets increases, as the economy just gets better and better, money does start to flow in as that tolerance for risk goes further out the risk curve. That is what has always happened. And the things that are happening now have always preceded massive moves to the upside. So if you're paying attention right now, well, congratulations, it's March 1st. Hey, we're in a new month. Congratulations for still being here, because most people have given up and exited. Those are the tourists, and they'll be back. They come back every single time. Crypto's always dead until it's not. Always dead until it's not. But this is the moment of opportunity for those who want to prepare. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, it is 11:58 a.m. Central Time. It's my time zone. It is now Sunday, March 1st, 2026. Here we are. We made it through February. What a shitty month. Let's see if March is a little bit better. Hopefully the analysts that think that the market bottom on February 5th end up being proven correct. There's a reasonable chance that they are. But as I record, XRP is $1.36. Bitcoin is just above $66,000. Here's the 24-hour chart for Bitcoin. Here it is for XRP. And you can see as I flash back and forth between these charts, it's the same chart, basically. This happens all the time, and that's why it's kind of funny. Like, obviously, fundamentals for individual coins matters, but it's so fascinating how entire asset classes will run together, and then segments inside of asset classes can also run. It's just fascinating to me, and it's always going to be like that, and that's fine. It's just that you'll have outperformance from the best coins, as time passes. There's a reason XRP's always been in the top 10 coins by market cap. But if you're worried, is there something wrong with your XRP because price is lower than you want it to be? The answer is no. It's just the asset class is down right now, and it's not going to stay down here. It's definitely not. And you know who knows that? It's the whales. That's right. The rich people and the institutions, the businesses, they get it. And it's always hilarious to me. Like, how come the retail speculators can never learn this? I know the reason. On an individual level, we can all learn, but the masses, no, absolutely not. Because there's always going to be people who are young learning the lessons that, other people had to learn when they were younger, and so on and so forth. And I get it. But take a look at this. This is from chart analyst CW. He wrote, XRP big whales dominated orders in 2024 after that huge rise occurred in November 2024. And since 2025 to the present, big whales have again dominated orders. What will be the next move? It will likely be a huge rise similar to November 2024. Now, folks, he ain't kidding. Look at what happened for about half a year leading up to XRP finally breaking out in November of 2024. It was, a little below 50 cents, a little above 50 cents. They didn't care what that price range was. It scared the hell out of a lot of people. It was just all over the place. It was never going to happen. Oh my God. And then it happened. And so the green dots that on your screen here, that's the smart money purchasing. The green dots represent the whales. The gray dots represent normie people purchasing. And what you will notice is that as the price goes up, which is what these dots going up means, as the dots start going up, the whales stop all of their purchasing. They do not participate when the price is going up. What you will notice is after the price starts going down, after it has gone up a lot, then they buy again. So you can see what happened in January. Went down, and then they spent close to half a year accumulating, and then it started going up, and eventually they stopped. And then we got to that all-time high for XRP, and then it was clear it was going down, and they just it was enormous. And so once it was sufficiently low, you can see got closer to maybe September, maybe beginning of October. Once you got to that range, that's when the whales started buying again. And think about this. They've been buying all the way up from what would you call it? $2.50 probably, based on this chart. Probably it's not perfectly labeled, but about $2.50 all the way down to $1.13. And anywhere in between, they have been dominating the purchases. That's because they know that number go up ultimately. And this is data from on-chain analytics from CryptoQuant, by the way. This is not some made-up stuff. This is actual data and actual behaviors from real people and businesses and institutions. They do not get wrong-footed. And I'm telling you, I'll pull up this chart after we have the next burst, whenever the hell it happens, and XRP finally enters price discovery. I'll pull back this post and I'll be like, see where it was? Remember when I told you it was a bottom area? And we don't know exactly where the bottom is or how deep it goes, but that's what it looks like. Bam. That is what's staring you right in the frickin' face. Then there was this post from chart analyst Javon Marks. This is a good one too. And so this is XRP priced in Bitcoin. And I love this one because we haven't seen a new all-time high on this chart since 2017. It is coming up on a full 9 years since XRP has had an all-time high priced against Bitcoin. Isn't that something? Despite the fact that XRP hit new all-time highs priced against the dollar multiple times last year, not against Bitcoin. In fact, not even close. You can see in November of 2024, see when this goes up. This is XRP price against Bitcoin. That's when it was running against the dollar, though, and it was just outpacing Bitcoin. Bitcoin was doing okay during that time period, too. So you finally got off those lows. But we haven't finished, folks, because we haven't finished the cycle. We haven't had the alt season yet. And so chart analyst Javon Mark shared this post, and he wrote, XRP against Bitcoin looks to be setting up for an over 680% run. And as a result, prices of XRP could climb even more. This can result in a more than $10 price point for XRP, and this looks to be right in line with a current measured move target that's above $15. Okay, well, you guys know me. I don't make price predictions, never have, never will, just not my jam. But I'll tell you, if something sounds crazy, and this does not sound crazy. We'll see what we hit this cycle. But historically, the second major leg up for XRP in a market cycle dwarfs the first one. And so we've had the first one, and then we kind of moved around just sideways mostly for most of 2025. It was still fun, though. I mean, seeing XRP outperform all the other altcoins, it was like very vindicating in that way. But we haven't had that yet. And if history is going to rhyme with itself, and that move that happens when alt season occurs, because that is what caps the cycle for XRPs when there's that alt season. If that's going to happen, it's going to absolutely dwarf what we saw last year. That's where the true life-changing wealth is going to come in for so many of us. We're not there yet, but we don't get to choose how long this takes. Whenever alt season comes, that's when XRP has its shot. That's that. And that's fine. I can live with that. I'm a patient guy. I've been waiting around since 2017, no problem. And then there was this from eGreg Crypto. He also shared an XRP BTC chart, and he noted that XRP, against the dollar and also associated stablecoins broke down. But he notes that XRP priced in Bitcoin, he says, is still holding the bullish rectangular formation like a boss. Says that tells you something important. XRP is showing relative strength against Bitcoin, even while USD pairs look weak. When dominance shifts, it starts here, not in the noise of other pairs, like with the dollar, so on and so forth. He says, if XRP holds strength versus Bitcoin, the story changes into bullish coiling phase. Yeah, so look, I'll just say this. I think it would be weird if XRP never hit a new all-time high against Bitcoin. That would be a bit odd to me. And for this cycle, if we don't at least have a burst that's substantial enough that you at least get close, I'd be surprised if we cap off the cycle without even getting close. Again, pulling up Javon's chart here again. Here's where we are now. See, this is the all-time high. We're moving my mouse here. The first half of 2017. Not even close, folks. There's so much room to run here. So much room to run. Then there was also this. So talk about macro factors, and they matter. You have to be in an environment where it's reasonable to speculate that such things will unfold, and we are there. Here's a post from analyst Mark Chadwick, and he was highlighting that a regional PMI survey, a Chicago PMI, is up to 57.7. That is officially economic expansion. And I mentioned this yesterday, but I just wanted to highlight, like, more and more analysts are picking up on this. Chart analyst Mealis, he also noticed this the other day. because Zero Hedge even shared this. Zero Hedge was noting that the Chicago PMI, it's a regional survey, not the ISM PMI. The ISM is the national one. But the Chicago PMI, which can kind of give you an idea of, okay, what's coming down the pike because it's reported first. And there's historically, obviously, strong correlation. Again, it was at 57.7. It was expected to only be 52.1, though. So it blew that out of the water. Way greater economic activity than was expected. And the month prior was, looks like it was 54. And so Melee's here wrote, step in the right direction. Now we wait for a national manufacturing PMI, which is to be released Monday next week. Trend continuation is what we need. And you know how this should benefit risk on, more particularly altcoins. Yeah, because this is economic expansion, so he's right about that. And so the report is supposed to be released tomorrow, Monday, March 1st. And let's just fingers crossed. I mean, there's no guarantee that it's going to be an expansion, but based on all this other data that I keep seeing, if I had to guess, I'd guess yes. Even in positive economic trends, I will note, and there's data on this, it's not going to perfectly necessarily move up in a straight line month to month to month. It can just trend that way. So even if we don't get further confirmation, that'd be disappointing, admittedly, and I'll just share with you whatever the result is tomorrow. But it wouldn't mean that the party's over. And again, I would be surprised if we don't see further expansion just based on other metrics that we keep seeing here. But this is important because, again, if you're seeing economic expansion, more money sloshing around, people, businesses, institutions have more funds that then must be allocated. And a certain amount of that ends up in risk on assets like crypto as people get they feel more comfort based on the monetary situation personally. And risk on appetite increases. Like that is just what happens. And it happens as global liquidity increases, which certainly is. And in the United States, I think I got a post for that later, coming up here somewhere anyway. There's also this from chart analyst Rickens. And he wrote here, all ISM PMI fans out there, so that's the national PMI there, Purchasing Managers Index. For all you fans out there, he says, one is ISM, that would be the black line on your screen here. The other is my macro indicator, so that's something proprietary he put together. He says, you think PMI leads? Imagine this. And so he's had this this proprietary macro filter, and analysts always do this. They don't want to tell you exactly what's in there. I guess they don't want other people copying their thing. So he's got this macro indicator. It's going back over half a decade, back to, not half a decade, decades. And you can see that this correlation has existed literally for decades, and his macro indicator, it looks like the vast majority of the time, if not 100% of the time, leads ISM PMI, and that correlation is there. And what he's showing you is that his particular macro indicator is leading, and it's higher than ISM. So, again, it's one more thing you can look at. Tomorrow, I'd kind of be surprised if we don't see expansion with ISM PMI. Again, fingers crossed, don't know for sure. Nobody knows for sure. Then there's also, it's the very next one here. Cointelegraph shared this. US M2 money supply has reached a new all-time high of $22.45 trillion. Liquidity, folks, and that's not global M2, but still, US, frankly, when it comes to global M2, fine. That's the one that's preferred to look at. It makes sense. But the US is such a major component of global M2 that it's not a bad idea to look at this, frankly. And so there you are, a new all-time high. And then we had this, and this is a post from Craig Fuller. He is the founder of FreightWaves, Freight Market Intelligence Sonar. So basically, they're an analytics firm for the trucking industry, basically. And so he wrote here, truckload tender volumes up 9% year over year, highest volumes since 2022. And folks, this is yet another point of confluence. So the chart shows the Sonar Truckload Volume Index, or STVI for short. You can see that's what this is right here. STVI stands for Sonar Truckload Volume Index, which measures how many freight shipment requests are being sent across the United States. So higher means more goods are moving, lower means less demand. The yellow line on your screen here is for the full year of 2025. The blue line, which is only towards the left of your screen, of course, the blue line is 2026 year to date. And so this lets us compare whether freight demand this year is stronger than the same time last year. And right now, the blue line is above the yellow quite safely, as you can see. I mean, look at this right here, which is which is why volumes are being reported up year over year as he shared this post. Again, highest level since 2022, and that is definitely a positive signal for the goods economy. No question about that. It's just one more point of confluence. If this is up, it is economic activity, folks. It just is. And by the way, and if you're wondering, what about these scary looking drops here? Look at these yellow drops here throughout 2025. What are those? They are not economic crashes. They line up almost perfectly with major U.S. holidays, actually, like you can see the 4th of July, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, so on and so forth. And of course, during holidays, fewer tenders are submitted. And of course, as a result, activity kind of takes a pause and then it rebounds quickly. So that's all that is. But the bottom line is that freight demand, it's improving versus last year, and this lines up with the PMI data that we've been seeing, which also indicates economic expansion. And the reason this matters is because this is the environment that historically has always ended up leading to alt season. That is why this matters. You don't see this at the depths of a bear market. Let me make this clear. 0 times in crypto's 17 plus year history have you seen this environment and it's been a bear market. 0 times. Let me say that again. 0 times have we had this macro environment, anything even close to this, and been in a bear market in crypto. It doesn't happen. And that makes logical sense. Why would it freaking happen? If things are just getting better and better, why wouldn't some of that eventually spill into crypto? Well, it does. That's what I'm telling you. It does. That's what matters here. And I can't imagine not being excited here. I can imagine. It's just stupid to not be. It's stupid to not be excited here. I'm just going to say that. And all these little wimps out there, they've capitulated. Typical lemming retail speculators. I hope that they learn. I hope one day they learn. Take a look at this. This is from chart analyst Satoxis. Bitcoin monthly chart looks bullish AF. Insane resilience despite the news, obviously referencing what's happening with Iran. Says, this is cool though, look at this. Close back above the 50 EMA and 50 SMA, holding the long-term uptrend, flipping multi-year resistance into support. This is not a bear market. Higher. Yeah, I agree. This is not a bear market. Here's more evidence of that. This is a post from chart analyst Mustache. This is others priced against Bitcoin, so altcoins priced against Bitcoin. He says, friendly reminder, the monthly MACD for others BTC has finally crossed bullish. That's this indicator down here. You see how it was all red, candle after candle after candle. It flipped green. I know it looks like a couple baby green candles, but there's a couple green candles right there. This is a momentum indicator. It has flipped at the same time. All of this economic activity is what it is. All sorts of interesting stuff. And look, markets find bottoms. And again, it's just altcoins priced against Bitcoin. And, it can outperform Bitcoin as everything's falling down against the dollar. I understand that. But still, pretty freaking cool to see this. Markets find bottoms, folks. It's like altcoins are just going to endlessly go down forever and ever and ever and never have a rally. That's a stupid concept. But check this out. He says the last time this happened was in 2020, the largest falling wedge in the history of others BTC, almost 5 years in the making. Looks like it's about to break out soon. And by the way, this is on the 1 month time frame. On other time frames, it is showing as having broken out. So take it for what it's worth. But the momentum has flipped. On this time frame, it's about to break out. On other time frames, it has broken out. Every analyst under the sun is talking about the others BTC chart. It just is what it is. All of the macro stuff lining up. All of the XRP whales doing what they're doing. Yeah, I'd say it's getting hard to ignore this. I think it's safe to say that things are going to get better. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea.